I was leaving a restaurant, headed towards a friend's house, 9 p.m. at night. I approached an intersection, in the left turn lane. The light was red. I stopped and looked to my left, for some reason, and I did a double take. Traffic was kind of sparse. The intersection was dimly lit. It was in front of a QT gas station with a retaining wall. It was about 4 feet high and a sidewalk that was barely wide enough for people to walk on. There, running directly towards oncoming traffic, was a 3-year-old boy, crying, panicking. I didn't believe my eyes. I looked around. Where are the parents? It looks like somebody just dropped him off out of a car right in the middle of the street and took off. But I didn't think that's exactly how he got there. He stopped. He turned back the other way, turned his back to oncoming traffic, and started running down the lane. I knew I had to grab him. I knew I had to get him. I opened my door, my car running. I looked up and saw the light turn green. Oh no, he's running further from me. I yelled. I can't remember what I yelled. He stopped. He looked at me. And I looked back at the traffic. There was no sitting cars at the intersection that were oncoming. The oncoming traffic was further back from the intersection. So when the light turned green, they were going pretty much at speed limit, about 45 miles an hour. I looked up and thought, do I have time to make it back to my car? Or is this a one-way trip across the road to grab that little boy who is about to be killed right in front of me? I stepped out of my car and went to make a move towards the boy and felt like my life would have been in danger if I did not just do a one-way trip. I thought about instantaneously trying to flag down the cars that were rapidly approaching the intersection. They were going to blow through the intersection. This boy was hard to see. He had tan pants on, a gray shirt with black stripes. He was Hispanic. He was hard to see, even for me, and I was just 20 yards away. As I hesitated, a car turning right lurched forward, headed right for the little boy. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think shouting was going to do it. I went back to my car and hit the horn and held it and just laid on the horn. That was all I could do. The car slammed on its brakes, its nose diving down, its rear end lurching up. The car comes to a stop about 2 feet shy of this crying little boy. A second car avoided a rear-end collision of the first car, swerved out wide on that right-hand turn, and occupied the second lane. He came to a complete stop. There was my chance. The two cars were stopped. They were acting as like a roadblock for the oncoming traffic. I did not even look up at the oncoming traffic. I trusted that they would see these cars stopped in their path and put on their brakes. I ran to the little boy, who was getting ready to turn and run again. I grabbed him and he shrieked even louder. I looked up and the passenger from the other car was a Hispanic female. She was young, probably 19 or 20. I asked her, I said, "Is this your boy? Is he yours?" She said, "No." And immediately I knew that he would feel more comfortable in a woman's arms than some stranger danger. So I almost like tossed her the boy. I tossed him to her and turned my back and ran to my car. I looked up and saw that the cars that were to run this little boy over had really stopped hard just shy of the cars that were blocking their path. But then came a third level of cars, and they too slammed on their brakes to avoid rear-ending the cars in front of them. I'd made my left-hand turn. I went down the road. I circled back past the median, made a U-turn, and came back towards the gas station. There was no car to be found. I went into the gas station. I did not see the white car that had almost hit the boy, and that had the female passenger, who I had handed the boy to. Nowhere were they to be found, and equally unnerving was the fact that there was nobody looking for this little boy anywhere around this intersection. Nowhere. 9 p.m. at night. The event was so troubling and unnerving, and it was almost surreal, and like it was impossible for this to be happening right before my eyes. I don't know what brought me and what led me to that place at that time. And basically, I know that these people that I handed the boy to would do the right thing. I know they would contact the authorities. And the poor child was literally freaked out, really freaked out. And I'll never know his name. I'll never know that lady's name. We were so in fear of our lives, we didn't exchange names. There was no time. I did not get a license plate. I don't even know what state the license plate was. All I know, it was a small four-door car that was white, as was the second car. And I can only imagine the scenario that put that little boy on a dark street, running in circles, screaming his head off. What put him there? But for that boy to get to that point on the street or from anywhere else in that intersection, to me, it's a miracle that he made it that far. How did he get around a retaining wall? How did he get onto the street? Why didn't he go back to where he first entered the street? Why was he in the street? And little Nino, I'll never know your name. And I hope one day that what happened last night, I hope that you forget about it. I hope it just seems like a bad dream. I hope that your parents love you. I hope that they're not drug addicts laying on the floor somewhere. I hope that people are scared about your being gone.